What up, good people? It's me, Johnny, back at it again with another video. And football is back, everybody.
I'm so happy I can't even feel my arms.
That said, I want to talk about and rank the 32 NFL starting quarterbacks in 4 tiers that I will put them in. Plus, I'm going to give my season predictions with division winners or who I think will make the playoffs from both conferences. When discussing the different quarterbacks that I have in each tier, I won't go into talking about each one of them specifically because obviously if I do that, this video is going to be far too long. But the way I'm going to do it is, and you'll see it as they pull up, I'll have the 4 tiers, and who I think is the bottom of the tier will be at the bottom, and then it'll rank up to the top. So you'll notice that as you see them. I might talk about a few here and there and explain somewhat of why I put them there, of quarterbacks that might be controversial within those tiers, but the basic of the tiers, of course, will go as I previously mentioned. Now, the 4 tiers will go as follows. So tier 4 quarterback means that the QB is a borderline starter or really should actually be a backup. Tier 3 quarterback means solid starter and possible playoffs. Tier 2 is playoff quarterback with the possibility of some postseason success in there. And then tier 1, of course, is a deep playoff run slash like the conference finals slash Super Bowl caliber quarterback. Without further ado, since this video might be kind of long, let me go ahead and jump right in and start with the quarterback tiers, and I'm going to start with tier 4, of course. Now, as you can see here, I don't think there will be much debate over who should be there. I will say that the 2 that I thought were the best of the tier 4 quarterbacks will be Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins, mainly because they have the most experience out of anybody really here on this list, and they have actually taken teams to the playoffs. Now, do I think the Saints and the Atlanta Falcons will make the playoffs this year? Well, stay tuned and I'll give you my announcement on that. But that's all I'm thinking on that. I know some people might be saying, hey, you already got Bryce Young, tier 4? Well, yes, he plays for the Carolina Panthers. They're not a very good team. And then we have a lot of rookies on this list, if y'all see. And then, for example, Anthony Richardson, who plays for my team, the Colts. Well, he was hurt last year. I know he looked okay in the preseason, but I need to see him do this in the regular season, stay healthy for long. So for now, those are my tier 4 quarterbacks. Let's go ahead and go to tier 3 quarterbacks. And as you can see, boy, I know that's going to be a lot of controversy for who I have in tier 3. I have a few notables here that people might disagree with. I mean, some people might actually agree with, though. Names like, for example, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, Matthew Stafford, Tua Tagovailoa, to name a few. I don't think anybody would disagree with me on the bottom rung of this. Look, I have Justin Herbert at the bottom because he's been in the league for this long, and I've just never been a big Justin Herbert guy. I know a lot of people get all just wowed by his arm talent, if you will, but his arm talent never gotten this team any success or gotten them to the playoffs. Look, I will say this. They got a new coach in Jim Harbaugh. So again, if they're going to make the playoffs and make any noise, I'll talk about that later if I think they're going to. But until I see it, the guy's a tier 3 quarterback. That's why I have him. Now, as far as the other ones who might be controversial, who's on this list, here's the thing, and I'll go by one really quickly. Let's start with Josh Allen. Josh Allen, in my opinion, he was voted on as most overrated player for how hyped he is, and I would agree with that. He doesn't have Stephon Diggs anymore, so we're going to see if Josh Allen is really that guy, or is he really a tier 3 quarterback, as I really think he is. Aaron Rodgers was hurt last year, so we don't know what he's going to be, and I know he's an all-time great. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I mean, this is what can you do for me now, not what have you done for me. So tier 3, Jordan Love. I know he had a really good season last year, surprisingly, right? They made the playoffs, but I need to see him take a step up. I know he beat the Cowboys last year in the playoffs. Green Bay has always had Dallas's number, so not gonna, give him much credit for that. But takes a step up, then maybe I might adjust that ranking for next year. Matthew Stafford, again, great quarterback, huge arm talent. I know he won the Super Bowl. Team missed the playoffs last year. He was hurt a lot. To me, Matthew Stafford has always been a guy who can spin it, but I wouldn't call him a tier 2 quarterback or anything like that, who can carry your team. Tua, kind of same thing, has a lot of arm talent, doesn't really have the strongest arm, but again, his team did make the playoffs last year. We'll see if the Dolphins make it this year, if I pick them to make the playoffs, but just somebody I don't think should rank any higher than tier 3. And then you have Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, who I think are the best 2 quarterbacks of the tier 3 quarterbacks. With that said, here's why I have Dak tier 3, and I know some people have him tier 2, right? Because when you look at his numbers, he's comparable to Patrick Mahomes. I'll put a real quick snapshot up of the last really 2 seasons, what Dak Prescott has done and what Patrick Mahomes has done, and they're pretty comparable. You can see why Dak made second team All-Pro last year. That said, he gets to the playoffs and he just folds up like a cheap tent. So for me, even though he puts up these gaudy numbers, gotta put the man tier 3 in my opinion till he does something in the playoffs and at least gets his team to the conference championship game. Then Trevor Lawrence, I know they missed the playoffs last year. I think Trevor Lawrence actually has the talent to carry the Jaguars there. I just don't know how much of a team they've built around him enough to really give him the success he's looking for, even though I like Doug Peterson as a coach. So that's why I have him tier 3. I know this might be the most controversial of it, so I want to spend a little bit of time, but let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with who I have here. And then let's go with my tier 2 quarterbacks. Again, I don't think anybody is going to question this much. The only 2 I believe will be questioned are the 2 I have at the bottom, in Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy. And that's because, well, Purdy is seen as a game manager, right? Considering how great the San Francisco 49ers are. I think a lot of people view Jalen Hurts similar-ish, right? Because the Eagles have a lot of talent on their team. They just got Saquon Barkley in the offseason, right? To add to his weapons, to help him. So I think people really see them as people who, if you put a good team around them, can carry. That said, though I agree with a lot of that, I still think these guys have proven that they're tier 2 quarterbacks and that they can kind of galvanize a team and really, I won't say carry them because that's a loaded term, especially in the NFL. But I'll just say a person who, if you put a solid team around them, they can get your team really far, Super Bowl even, right? And then the other 4 tier 2 quarterbacks, look, Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP. I know a lot of people think he's just a running back who can throw the ball, but I like L-Jack. I like Joe Burrow. I know he was hurt last year for a lot of the year, so people could question, how do you have him tier 2? But I believe if he's healthy and if the Bengals have really built an offensive line around him, we're going to see the Bengals really do something this year. And then C.J. Stroud last year in his rookie season showed just that he is that guy, and me as a Colts fan is sad that he's in my division and going to give my team problems for years to come. But again, we'll see how Anthony Richardson shapes up. And then Jared Goff, who I think has been underestimated his entire career. He got the Rams to the Super Bowl. They traded him. Yes, I know the Rams did win the Super Bowl. So in theory, it's kind of a win-win on both teams, right? The Rams got their Super Bowl, and Detroit kind of had their solid starting quarterback. And I think Jared Goff proved last year that he is that guy, that he is a valuable quarterback who, with pieces around him, can actually get a team to the playoffs and win a playoff game or 2 even. That said, these are my tier 2 quarterbacks, and we already know moving to tier 1, who's tier 1 is Patrick Mahomes. He's it. He's the guy. Until somebody beats him in the playoffs and knocks him out, he's the best quarterback in the league. Even if somebody beats him, he's probably still the best quarterback in the league. But he's the king. He's tier 1. He's the top. Now, let's go into who I think will win the division, which automatically will put them into the playoffs. I won't be talking about what seed I think they're going to have. Just strictly teams that I think will make the playoffs. And yes, this is barring health. I know you can never guarantee that, and the NFL is quite a physical sport. But let's talk about who I think is going to make the playoffs in the NFL. Let's start with the AFC, and we'll go with the first team to win the AFC East, and I think that'll actually be the Miami Dolphins. I know when you look at it from the perspective of last year, the Bills actually won the AFC East. I think Miami is going to be the team to win it this year. With Stephon Diggs taken away from Josh Allen. I think he's going to take a step back. I think the Bills also going to take a step back as far as being able to win a division. And I believe that Miami, again with Tua and with that team, I know they lost Odell, but I mean they still have pretty much their solid core intact. I think Miami will win the division in the East. Let's go to the North, the AFC North. Much like I predicted last year, Baltimore would win. I was right about that. I think they're going to win it again this year. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to give them a run for their money in this division. I guarantee it. But until somebody beats the Baltimore Ravens and knocks them off their division perch, I'm going to go with the defending champion Baltimore Ravens in this division. Let's go to the AFC South. I have the Houston Texans. They have the best team in the division. They have the best quarterback in the division. They're going to win a division again. The AFC South is kind of weak. Jesus. I'm an Indianapolis Colts fan, y'all, and it just pains me to say that. But anyway, Houston's going to win the AFC South. Let's go to the AFC West. And Kansas City has been that division's winner since Patrick Mahomes has pretty much been there. He's going to win it again until somebody knocks off the Kansas City Chiefs in the division. They're going to be the division winner for the AFC West. As far as the wild card teams, I actually this year, during health, I have 3 brand new teams making the playoffs in the AFC for the wild card, and that would be the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the New York Jets, as long as Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy and upright, they're going to make the playoffs. And then I know I just trashed all over Justin Herbert earlier when I did my quarterback tiers, but I think the Chargers are going to make the playoffs. They have the talent. Jim Harbaugh is there, and Jim Harbaugh, as we saw, again, going with the last time he was in the NFL as the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, he got that team pretty instant success. And I think he could take Justin Herbert and maybe mold him to get him to actually live up to the talent that he has. And he'll end up maybe performing like a tier 2 quarterback by the end of the year, which is why I think the Chargers will actually be a wild card team. Let's go to the NFC for the division winners. First and foremost, it's the Eagles in the NFC East. They upgraded their rosters. I know the Cowboys won it last year, but the Cowboys kind of stayed packed. The only addition that they made was Zeke Elliott, and let's be honest, Zeke has been past his prime for a few years now. NFC North, I know the Lions won it last year, but I really feel the Green Bay Packers are going to somehow get back on top of the division. I think the Lions are going to fight it out with them. So if I'm wrong, hey, I'm wrong, but I really think that the Green Bay Packers are going to somehow get back on top. And then the NFC South, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then the NFC West, San Francisco is clearly the class of that division. So they're going to win the division. Let me go to my wild card teams. All these teams in the NFC wild card made the playoffs last year. Detroit Lions, the Los Angeles Rams, and then the Dallas Cowboys. Throughout the year, I will make videos about the NFL season and about what I'm seeing happen and things like that. But football is back, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, let me know in the comments if y'all agree with my quarterback tiers and if you agree with the teams I have making the playoffs, or if you disagree, let me know who you have in the comments. But until the next video, I hope you all have a good one, and I'll talk to you all later. Take care.